Hello, I'm Deshaun, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate my latest version of a multi-architecture cloud-native build pack. Spring Framework 6 and Spring Boot 3 brought with it ahead of time processing, or AOT processing, which allows us to deliver something like a Spring Boot app as a statically linked native binary. However, if you're on Apple Silicon M1 or M2 or a Raspberry Pi or some other ARM64 architecture, you might be feeling a little left out. Well, you don't have to be left out. Spring Framework 6 and Spring Boot 3 require Java 17. In order to follow along in this demo, you're going to need Java 17, and if you want to do the native image processing, you're going to need GraalVM version 22.3, which is the latest today. What we're going to do is review the multi-architecture builder. Then we'll talk a little bit about the latest release that I just pushed out, and we'll walk through the tests so that you can see the builder in action. So I'm pretty excited. I literally just pushed out a release and I had to tell somebody. So this is a little blog post that I wrote. The release is out, it's tested, and now we're going to just kind of walk in. What is this? What is this thing? What is this release? This is the repository on GitHub. And what we're trying to do to fix is being able to run the cloud native build pack from upstream Paketo with our ARM64 hardware. About a year ago, Daniel Makusa started this project and I kind of took it and ran with it. I've been pushing out regular releases uh, all year. Before that, I had another version that I used with Spring Native that I was using specifically for my Raspberry Pis. But this is a much better approach and it's just kind of iterated over time. So now I'm pushing out regular releases from this repository. And really the guts of it is all in the GitHub actions. So those GitHub actions are in here. There's three actions here. The first one creates the stack. That's kind of the base image that everything's going to run on. The second is the ARM64 version of the upstream builder. And then the last one is the manifest, which takes the two builders, the upstream builder for ARM64 or for AMD64 and my builder for ARM64, and it kind of slaps them together. And with Docker, it'll pull down the proper architecture for whatever you're running on. In the repository, in my repository, I've given some instructions that you can kind of follow along with. The first thing is let's create a Spring Boot 3 application. I'm just going to copy the instructions right here, a little curl command that will allow us to do that. We're going to make a directory, the Paketo ARM64 test. We'll run our command, just copy and paste. I can kind of show you. Yeah, straight simple. What we're going to do now is I'm going to try to do a native build on my M1 machine. This is my Mac M1. I'm going to try to do a native build just so you kind of see how it breaks today. -p native spring boot build image. And we're going to go ahead and skip the test. It's going to fail anyways, but let's watch this. This is going to take a little while. Ahead of time processing is looking at every possible way that this code can be executed, and then it optimizes it. So if it can't go down a path, it throws it away. And what you're going to see right here is that I'm on ARM64, and what it's doing is pulling down this Docker IO Paketo build packs builder tiny. Problem is that image does not have an ARM64 version. It's not multi-architecture. It's upstream. It's only supporting AMD64 or x86 64. So this is going to take a while. We'll come back. I'm back. We haven't made much progress. What's happening, because it's an AMD 64 image, it's using QEMU emulation and trying to do ARM64 compilation because that's the underlying architecture. It's not going to work. I could sit here for hours and it's still not going to move very far, very fast. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this and we'll come back and try again. Okay, it's hard to kill out of that process, but I'm going to show you here that's the same process that we were just running. It's 3 minutes, but 3 minutes is too long. I could have left it there for hours. It still wouldn't move anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill that guy. Stop. Hello. All right, we're good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make one little edit. I'm going to go ahead and open up my IDE for this. I want it to be clean. I want you to be able to see it. And here we go. I'm going to make one change down here. Actually, I can show you in the documentation what I want to do. I want to change this Spring Boot Maven plugin to use the builder that I've just released. So I'm going to copy that. And we're going to change this one. And this is Tiny. Tiny's going to be, it's like my latest. Again, that's to match upstream. But today we just made a specific tag. We added this new feature in the release where I'm giving it both. Today is 2023-02, but it was released 04. And that's going to be a tag just like Tiny. It's going to be the same thing. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to scoot back over here. And now we're going to run that same MBNW PD native Spring Boot build image. And this is going to take a while. It's not going to take, whoop, I didn't do something right. Oh, I didn't grab the whole thing. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I have too many. I have too many builds. All right, let's go. And too many plugins. Good. Now let's try that again. Now, this should not take 3 minutes. We're on an M1. First thing that we're going to see is we're going to pull it on a builder. Now it's grabbing my builder. Oh, wait, it's going by pretty fast. But I'll scoot back up and show that again. Where we changed it manually. It's grabbing my builder. It's also using my stack, Deshaun Jammy Run Tiny to do the work. And you can see here, we've already made it further in seconds. We've already made it further than we did on the previous release or the previous attempt. All right. It took 2 minutes. I suspect that's because I'm also recording and I left the camera on while it's doing that. The ahead of time processing uses as much memory as it can, as much CPU as it can, because it's analyzing every possible branch that that code could be executed. All right, as we can see here, we have a new Docker image in our images. Let's go back to the documentation and let's grab that next command that we want to run in order to validate it. We're going to go ahead and run the Docker image that we just created. All right, now that Docker image is up and running, and now we're going to go test it. I'm going to clear this so we can see at the top. I'm going to use HTTPie. I'm going to hit port 8080 actuator health, which is the one that you get. And there we go. Our application is up and running. Our Docker image worked. We're on ARM64. If you love Spring Boot like I do, if you're running on Apple M1 or M2, or if you want to deliver Spring Boot to Raspberry Pis, you don't have to feel left out anymore. What we did today was we demonstrated this multi-architecture builder and how you can use it for your apps. We also looked at the website. Hey, this is where the project's at. If you've got issues, you're running into issues, or if you like it, hit the star, let me know. I'm happy to help. If you've got any questions, let me know. Feedback is welcome. Also, I showed you the little announcement. And if you want an example of the test, just like we did here, there's output of the test that I ran earlier. So you can kind of do a side-by-side comparison. I would love to hear your feedback. Again, this is one of the first videos that I've made for my YouTube channel. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button and let me know if you'd like some more. Thanks.